welcome back to another episode of the Urge Artifacts. I am really excited today because we are going to be doing an unboxing of a prop replica of the Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII. Now, for a long stretch of my life, I considered Final Fantasy VII my favorite video game of all time. And with the recent release of Final Fantasy Rebirth, the second installment of the reimagining of the Final Fantasy series, I've been really excited and back into Final Fantasy again. I'm actually about 80 hours or so into Rebirth right now. I haven't beaten it yet, so no spoilers. But I did some searching for Buster Sword replicas, and there's actually a lot of variants on the different type of Buster Swords you can get out there. Now, knowing mine was primarily going to be used for display purposes and kind of an expression for Final Fantasy VII in my collectibles room, I decided on a model from Swifty Props. I'll leave a link to that in my description, but it's an Etsy store, and this is a wood-based replica. It actually has glass materia in it. So it's very lightweight, only weighing 5 pounds. The most important thing is that it's 170 centimeters long, or 5 feet 7 inches. I wanted this to be very large. Obviously, the dimensions of the Buster Sword are even bigger than that if you look at it in the video game, but this seemed to have really good value. It's $449 for the original Final Fantasy version. They do sell a Crisis Core version, which is a little bit more expensive, but I wanted to get the traditional look. You are able to pick out the individual materia colors for the 2 slots on the sword, so I'll let you wait and see which ones I picked for that. So what we're gonna do is we are going to just do a quick unboxing of this, a detailed look through. I'll give my tier rating for the collectible, and hopefully this helps you make a decision, because it was really hard looking through the stores to find a Buster replica, and I know there's a lot of Final Fantasy VII fans out there too who would also love to have this iconic blade in your collectible room. So let's take a look. Alright, so here we have it. Here is the box. I have another very wide angle because this is a very long sword. Reminds me a little bit of the Black Arrow video I had to do. Let's take it out of the box, and then we'll get a more close-up look through when it's open. Alright, first thing that I'm very happy with is there's very nice secure packaging. The handle's wrapped up nice and tight with the foam, and this is like very tight to the item itself. Alright, now we're starting to see the weapon here. And I'm going to take off this plastic covering. Alright, so here we have it, the Buster Sword. First impressions, this is very light. The 5 pounds is accurate, like they said in the description. This is obviously used for cosplay, so you could potentially hold it with one hand. I'm going to be careful for that right now, because I don't know how strong this handle is. But first thing that I'm seeing here is it's obviously big. It's the Buster Sword. It needs to be very big. But there is like a lot of detail in the blade itself. So I'm going to bring it close. So see all the nicks and scratches by design, of course. It very much makes you feel like this is battle tested. And a little history on the Buster Sword. It wasn't just Cloud Strife's weapon. He was actually the 3rd person to use the Buster Sword after Angeal, who was Zack's type of mentor in Crisis Core, and then Zack Fair himself. And I gotta say for a second, the Crisis Core video game, I had never played it the original time it got released, but I played it, the reunion on PlayStation 5, and that game was fantastic, and adding that story going into Rebirth was really good. I mean, Zack Fair's the man. So anyway, this was the 3rd time it was used, so having a lot of this detail and etching on it is really nice. And it's very accurate to the design. Here's the 2 slots for the materia, and there is a bag of materia that I'm going to break out in a second. And then the other thing it gives you is a handle options, so you could either do the brown handle or red handle, and I went with the brown because that is the fitting color for the classic Buster Sword. Now another thing it provides is materia. You can pick your color. They obviously have all the colors available. I went with green and blue. I figured that would be very fitting for Cloud, but you can also get red, you can get yellow, you can get pink for the different types. Green being the spell materia, blue being like the support materia. I just felt like this was a really good option. And then something else that they also sent that I didn't know is these mounting brackets. Now I believe these are wall mounts, so if you want to display this, but I'll have to figure that out in a second. And I changed the camera angle to get you a nice view of the materia because I have some nice sunlight coming through right now. So there's the glass materia with the sunlight, and it kind of gives you a really nice look. It looks actually beautiful just like it does in the game, glowing and very nice. Alright, so now here is a nice full shot of the Buster Sword. The materia is great, it just pops right in, and it's actually very secure in there. And you can see the details one last time, and you can see the length and the size. I think I mentioned before, this is 5 feet 7 inches long. And for a quick size comparison, you can see the Atlantean Conan sword next to the Buster Sword, and true to scale and very fitting, the Buster Sword is ridiculously larger, as it should be, to another, standard size fantasy sword. And then you could also look up on the wall, you can see the World of Warcraft swords up there, and you can see how much bigger it is. I mean, heck, look at it compared to the throne. All right, everybody, here you have it, and I had to really zoom out to get you a full-size shot compared to me on the Buster Sword. Here is a size comparison. I forget how Cloud does it, but I think he might have do something like this with the behind his head. I'm going to give this a quality rank on my tier system. These are pretty expensive in general, especially if you think of just the material it's made out of. But for that price, you are getting the look. And this is going to be awesome for display. I'm not going to use it for cosplay, but I will use it as like a memorable display. It'll go over probably by where my PlayStation 5 is and stuff like that. But the detail is just really good. The materia was a nice little bonus. It's just really awesome and iconic, and it's going to look really good with all the other weapon replicas that I have. Maybe one day I'll drop a few thousand on a metal version, but I don't know about that. I think this is just fine enough. Alright everybody, I want to thank you all for watching. If you're a fan of Final Fantasy VII, please feel free to drop a comment, start a little chat. Also, how did you like the 2 video games? How did you like Remake? How did you like Rebirth? How did you like Crisis Core? Stay tuned for upcoming videos. And as always, keep on collecting, keep on having fun, and da 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 da.